fear of failure. It is the silent enemy. It hides inside your thoughts. It whispers every time you dream big. It says, what if you fall? It says, what if people laugh? It says, what if you lose everything? But here is the truth. Failure is not the end. Failure is feedback. Failure is proof that you tried. Failure is the foundation of strength. Now let's connect this to a powerful phrase. The phrase is face the music. What does it mean? It means accept the consequences. It means stand strong when life tests you. It means take responsibility instead of running away. In life, you cannot always escape. You cannot always hide from the truth. Sooner or later, you must face the music. And when you do, you grow stronger. Think of every successful person you admire. They failed again and again, but they stood back up. They faced the music. They didn't hide. They didn't run. They accepted the challenge. When you avoid failure, you avoid growth. When you avoid risk, you avoid progress. When you avoid the music, you miss the performance of life. The fear is natural, but courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is moving forward despite the fear. Every time you act, the fear shrinks. Every time you hesitate, the fear grows. So today, make a choice. Stop hiding. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop letting the fear of failure control your story. Your story is yours to write. Face the music. Stand tall, even if your voice shakes, even if your steps are weak. Take the stage of life and show up fully. Failure feels heavy. It feels like a shadow that follows you. It feels like the world is watching, waiting for you to fall. That pressure makes you freeze. That fear makes you quit before you even start. But listen carefully. Most of the fear is only in your head. It's imagination, not reality. You create the worst story before it even happens. You write a tragedy before you even try. That's why the phrase "face the music" is so powerful. It reminds you, don't run from reality. Don't let fear write the ending. Step forward and see the truth. Because here's the secret. When you finally face the music, it's never as bad as you imagined. You thought people would laugh. Most of them don't even care. You thought one failure would destroy you. It actually teaches you. It makes you stronger. Think about a child learning to walk. They fall again and again, but they don't call themselves a failure. They face the music. They get up and they try again. Why do adults forget this? Why do we think one mistake defines us? Why do we run from the music of life? Your mistakes are not the end. They are the beginning. Your failures are not your identity. They are your lessons. Your scars are not your shame. They are your strength. So when life tests you, don't run. Don't hide. Don't make excuses. Step forward. Face the music. Because that's where transformation begins. Every success story hides failure behind it. Every winner once stood in the dark, but they made one choice. They faced the music. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times, but he didn't quit. He said, "I have not failed. I just found ways that don't work." That's what it means to face the music. To accept reality, to learn from it, to keep moving forward. Look at great athletes. They lose matches. They miss shots. They fall in front of millions. But they return. They train harder. They come back stronger. That is facing the music. Fear whispers, "Don't try. You might fail." Courage answers, "I'll try anyway." Because failure is not death. Failure is feedback. Failure is growth. The phrase "face the music" also means honesty. Be honest with yourself. Don't hide behind excuses. Don't blame others. Accept your role. Accept your mistake, and then fix it. Growth only starts with honesty. If you hide, you stay weak. If you face the truth, you become powerful. So tell yourself today, yes, I failed, but I'm not finished. Yes, I fell, but I will rise. Yes, I'm scared, but I will face the music. Life gives tests before rewards. It gives storms before sunshine. And in every storm, you have two choices. Run away or face the music. Running away feels easy, but it makes you weaker. Facing the music feels hard, but it makes you stronger. Think of a student. He didn't study. Now exams are here. He must face the music. He can't escape. He must sit down, write, and accept the result. That moment is tough, but it teaches a lesson. Life works the same way. You avoid work. You avoid effort. One day reality knocks, and you must face it. That is the real exam of life. Remember this. The more you avoid fear, the bigger it grows. The more you face fear, the smaller it becomes. When you face the music, fear loses power. You look it in the eyes. You accept the challenge, and suddenly you feel free. Winners are not people without fear. Winners are people who face fear. They accept failure. They take responsibility. They face the music with courage. Failure is not your enemy. Fear of failure is. When you fail, you learn. When you fear, you stop. Fear whispers lies. It says, don't try, you will fail. It says, people will laugh at you. It says, stay safe, stay small. But the truth is different. The truth is powerful. The truth says, even if you fail, you grow. Even if you fall, you rise stronger. That's why the phrase face the music is so important. It's about accepting the truth. It's about standing tall. It's about saying, yes, I made mistakes, but I will keep going. Think of every great achiever. Thomas Edison failed hundreds of times. J.K. Rowling was rejected again and again. Steve Jobs was fired from his own company. But they all faced the music. They accepted failure. They didn't hide. They didn't give up. They embraced the lessons, and then they turned failure into power. So ask yourself, what's the worst that can happen? If you fail, you learn. If you fall, you stand again. But if you never try, you regret forever. Regret is heavier than failure. Regret is more painful than mistakes. So don't run from fear. Don't hide from challenges. Stand tall, face the music. Because that's where real freedom begins. Fear makes your world small. It builds walls. It locks doors. It tells you to stay where you are. But life is not meant for walls. Life is meant for horizons, for growth, for expansion. When you face the music, you break those walls. You step into light. You step into possibility. Ask yourself, how many chances have you lost because of fear? How many dreams stayed only as dreams? Not because you couldn't achieve them, but because you never started. Fear of failure kills more dreams than failure itself ever could. Failure is temporary, but fear creates permanent chains. So change the way you see failure. Don't see it as the end. See it as feedback. See it as guidance. Each failure is a map. It points you to what doesn't work. It points you closer to what will work. When you accept this, fear loses power. When you accept this, courage takes over. And courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is action despite fear. That's why facing the music is so powerful. It is courage in action. It is saying, I know it's hard. I know I might fail, but I choose to try. This choice is what changes your life, not perfection, not never failing, but trying. Fear whispers, what if you fail? But ask back, What if I succeed? What if the step you avoid today is the step that could change your entire life? Think about it. Every great inventor failed many times. Every great leader faced rejection. Every successful person once stood where you stand now. They didn't wait for courage to come. They created courage by action. That is the secret. Confidence is not built by waiting. Confidence is built by doing. Every time you face the music, you train your mind, you grow stronger, you build resilience, and resilience is your superpower. It keeps you standing when life shakes you. It helps you rise again after every fall. Failure is not your enemy. Fear of failure is. When you learn this, you start living differently. You no longer chase safety, you chase growth, you chase progress. And progress is where happiness lives. Not in perfection, not in avoiding mistakes, but in moving forward step by step. So face the music, take the chance, start the project, speak the idea, pursue the dream, because regret is heavier than failure, and time will not wait. One day you will look back. You will remember the moments you were scared, the moments you wanted to quit, the moments you thought you could not go on, and you will smile because you faced the music, because you did not let fear win. Remember this, failure is not the end, it is the beginning. It is the path every champion walks. The only real failure is not trying at all. So when fear rises inside you, when doubt screams in your head, take a deep breath and whisper, I am stronger than fear. I choose courage over comfort. I will face the music and step forward, even if it's small, even if it shakes you, even if no one believes in you yet, because your future self is waiting. Your dream is waiting. Your success is waiting. All it takes is one step, then another, then another. This is your time. This is your life. Do not waste it hiding. Stand tall, move forward, face the music, and create the story you were born to live.